GEP RC Sparrow frame. And what I'm going to do here is I ended up crashing this into a water tower along with a couple of trees. And I took out the OSD chip on here. It still transmits, like it's transmitting, trying to transmit video, but it can't transmit video because the OSD chip is done. This is the HG LRC F3 version 4 board, and I've gotten probably 700 flights out of this board, and out of the 700 flights I wrecked, I don't know, maybe 500 times. It's like every time I go out I wreck. I wouldn't say 500 times, but I wrecked probably, I'd say 200 times, because I'm always trying crazy stuff to try to get better and better at flying and doing tricks and stuff, you know, freestyle stuff. So you're going to have wrecks. I mean, that's just all there is to it. That's just the nature of the hobby. But what happened on this here to finally take out the OSD is the antenna got ripped out of here. And that was like the 4th time it happened. So it literally ripped the antenna right off the connector about 4 times. So I'm not sure if the connector's done. Maybe it could be the connector's toast too. I don't know. I just know it's not transmitting any OSD or any video whatsoever. The flight controller works fine, but with no OSD, I don't like flying with timers. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this board out. Luckily, Banggood had an anniversary sale, and this board was $23 this weekend, so that was kind of nice. But I'm not going to replace this board. I'm going to end up doing a small 20 by 20 stack in here. Got Heli RC is going to start carrying HGL RC stuff, so I'm just going to buy the stuff from them. I'm just going to get the little 20 by 20 stack that HGL RC has, so, and put that in here, and that way I can just, you know, I don't have to modify the lid of the Atom V2. I can just put this on here with the stack. So that's what I'm going to do with that at a later date. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to rob the motors, which are the Emax 1306 4Ks. I'm going to put them on the GEPRC frame here. I'm also going to get a stack for this. This is for a later build. I'm going to get a 20 by 20 stack, the HGL. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. It's an HGLRC fly tower stack. I'm going to put that in here and make a lightweight Japalora. Nobody's done a lightweight Japalora build for some reason. They always make them heavy. I'm actually going to do a 3S light, 3 to 4S, either way, but a light build on the Japalora, which nobody else is doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rob the camera, which is the micro, or the Swift Micro, Runcam Swift Micro, and I'm going to rob the 4-in-1 right here, Raystar 20 amp 4-in-1 ESC out of this. I'm going to put it inside the GEP. And then what I'm going to run for a flight controller is I'm going to run an HGLRC. This is the version, I think this is the version 3, but it's not an all-in-one. It doesn't have the VTX built into it. So far what I've had to do on this to get this to work the way I want it to work. Now, it would work if you want your battery cables out to the side. It would work in this frame just fine. Stock, however, I like having my batteries always out the back, as you can see here. I like that. It's just something I prefer, and the reason why is because I tend to, if the battery's off the side, I've tried that before on a previous frame, and it got caught on some twigs and stuff and completely destroyed my my board. So this here is pretty much like an all-in-one. It just doesn't have the VTX, but it has an OSD chip on board. It also has a power distribution. So the only thing that's really missing is the VTX. And what I'm going to do with that is put the TBS Unify Pro into this frame here. So I'll have a TBS Unify Pro. I'll have this all-in-one here by HGL RC, and yeah. And then I'll put this 20 amp race star in it because this thing works great. I mean, it's BL Heli. I think it's running a D-Shot. Yeah, D-Shot 150, I think is what I was running on this. But it worked great in this. So, and then I'm just going to keep the Atom V2 frame for another time for more of a winter build. And I'm going to put a smaller stack in there. What I'm liking about these micros is that the stacks are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and lighter and lighter and lighter. So, you know, I think the micros are the way to go forward. And I know 5" is all the thrills out there as far as speed, but these micros are getting faster and faster, especially with the 1407 motors that are coming out. And just the fact that you can get stacks that are much lighter than these full-size boards, so you can build them up really nice and light with a 4S pack and 1407 motors, and you really got yourself something. I don't really care about going that fast, to be honest with you. 3S is fine with me for the most part because I like the fact that I can go out there and fly around for 5-6 minutes at a time instead of 2 minutes at a time or 3 minutes at a time. So it's kind of nice, you know. I mean, I'm still able to do punch outs. I'm still able to do, you know, granted, you don't have the power on hand, the authority of a 4S, but, you know, you can overcome that. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. And then when I come back, I'll show you how this fits in the frame along with this here. I got to deconstruct this. And I'm also going to use these DYS motors here. So these are 1306 4Ks, but they will not run a 4S pack. They'll just run 3S, and that's all I'm going to run on this frame is 3S anyway. So I'm just kind of reusing the stuff I have because I have so much stuff around here that I'm not using. I'm just going to go ahead and use that on this frame. It's all good quality stuff, but it's not the absolute latest and greatest. That's what will be going on here. This build here will include also a run cam split with a GoPro lens. So I'm really looking forward to this build, but I'm waiting for GOT Heli RC to get some stuff in stock. So that's what I'm doing with that. All right. Both copters are the parts that I need to make this build. And as you can see here, I had to widen out the stance of the frame here. You can see the stock holes up here and down here. I had to put it on the drill press, widen it out, and the reason I had to do that is because I didn't want the battery leads off to the side on this board. I wanted them out the back. So in order to do that, I had to widen out the stance on this frame to miss the positive and negative pads on the flight controller board here. So I wanted to make sure that neither one of them were hitting the side rails here, and also have enough space so that if in case of a crash or something like that, it wasn't going to hit that. So I had to widen these out just a hair, and I'll make up with it with the standoffs. So that's what I'm doing next. Is I have to get everything welded up on this board to put everything else on this copter. But I just wanted to point out that I did have to widen this out. It really isn't the fault of the frame itself. It's more or less the fault of the of HGLC, the way they designed this board. Instead of putting these pads like directly in the middle of the board, they put them off to the one side. So if it was in the middle, I wouldn't have to widen these out, but they actually have them offset here to the left. So that's what I had to do. All right.